thinking about moving to Provo, here's my top 5 reasons or pros why you should consider calling Provo home. And also, I've got 5 cons that might cause you to call a timeout on calling Provo home. Time out! So let's dive into it. My name's Scott Walters, Best USA Realty. On this channel, I talk about everything what it's like to live, eat, sleep, work, and play in Provo, Utah and the Utah Valley area. Today, we're talking about Provo, Utah. My number 1 pro for Provo, honestly, maybe this is a little bit biased, but that's Brigham Young University. Brigham Young University is part of the Big 12 conference, and so they have absolutely amazing sports programs. Their football program is up and coming. Surprisingly, their basketball program with their new hire, bring in some of the top recruits in the country. There's just a buzz surrounding BYU's football program. But the thing that's under the radar, a lot of people don't realize, is some of those Olympic sports and other sports are absolutely top flight of BYU. Both the women's and men's volleyball teams are absolutely amazing. They are so fun to watch. And don't forget about the women's soccer team. They are perennially one of the best teams in the country. But beyond that, of course, BYU offers great educational opportunities and employment opportunities, and they bring all kinds of cultural activities to the area. So BYU for me is one of the number 1 reasons, number 1 pros to call Provo home. All right, a close second, and maybe it should have been first, really, is the outdoor lifestyle. Provo is an absolute outdoor mecca for people that just love to enjoy hanging out in the outdoors. You're just 5 minutes up to Provo Canyon, where you have a beautiful waterfall with Bridalveil Falls. A little further up that canyon, you'll come to Deer Creek Reservoir. Wonderful outdoor boating, fishing, all kinds of stuff there. You also have Sundance and that world-class ski resort there. They have all kinds of summertime activities besides the wintertime skiing. They've got outdoor plays in the summertime. They've got mountain biking ride. They've got chairlift rides to watch the fall colors. And then, of course, there's bike trails galore. Now, the park system is part of the outdoor lifestyle here in Provo. They have an incredible outdoor trail system that runs all along the Provo River, starts clear up Provo Canyon, goes all the way out to Utah Lake. So there's also, well, you got the Y Trail. Everyone loves hiking the Y Trail. The views up there are phenomenal. Of course, the best views are always from the top. That's a great hike here locally. They've got the Bonneville Shoreline Trail that people absolutely love to enjoy mountain biking, hiking, walking along that. And so then there's the other multiple canyons very nearby everywhere here in the Provo area that you can enjoy. You've got American Fork Canyon, you've got Temp Cave up American Fork Canyon that connects into where you can connect up into Sundance. You have on the south end of Utah Valley, just a few minutes from Provo, you have the Nebo Loop Road, which absolutely amazing fall drive, fall colors there. You'll love that. Spanish Fork Canyon, that's also really close to Provo. You can get up there and go to Strawberry Reservoir or Schofield Reservoir. You can go fishing on Diamond Fork or Thistle Creek or Nebo Creek. And so just the outdoor lifestyle, there's just so much to do in the Provo area. So along with that outdoor lifestyle, you're really 2.5 to 3.5 hours to all 5 of the big 5 national parks here in Utah. It'll take you about 2.5 hours to get to the Moab area, where you've got 2 beautiful national parks in Arches National Parks as well as Canyonlands National Park. You're also like 2 hours and 45 minutes to Bryce Canyon. That is my personal favorite national park here in Utah. And then you're about 3 hours or so to Zions Canyon, which is probably the most popular park in Utah. It's a little bit crowded, but it is beautiful. You're only about 2.5 hours to Capitol Reef National Park. I took my family down there earlier this year, and we actually camped out on Boulder Mountain, which is right there by Capitol Reef, and that's a beautiful place to camp and just stage a place to stay to be able to go walk through and enjoy Canyonlands. We also went and hiked the Calf Creek Falls right there nearby. That's some really stunning country down there. So Provo is just really, really close to all that outdoor recreation. So you've got a bunch right here in the backyard, like I talked about. But if you want to take a little day trip and a drive, you've got all those. There's also some really cool state parks that are very close to Provo. Like you've got Goblin Valley, which is down there in the Moab area. That's a beautiful state park to enjoy. Outdoor lifestyle, amazing here in Provo. So Provo's part of the Silicon Slopes Tech Hub. Most of those companies are actually up in Lehigh, so you're about 15 minutes away to Lehigh to be able to check out all those tech jobs. There's plenty right here in Provo too. Provo's been kind of the heart of starting quite a few of those types of companies like Vivint, Qualtrics, Ancestry.com. In fact, a couple of years ago, I had a guy who started a high-tech company. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, just a couple of years ago, I had a guy that was building his like 20,000 square foot French Chateau mansion, and he just needed a place to stay for a couple months while they were finishing that. So I happened to have a house available for him to rent, and he rented that. He actually started a high-tech company while he was attending Brigham Young University right here in Provo, and ended up selling that for just hundreds of millions of dollars. So Provo's really been quite a center point for all kinds of entrepreneurs and tech hubs or tech startup companies. Now check this out right behind me. Before all the tech companies got going here, I think Provo was kind of the heart of the multi-level marketing industry. Right behind me is Nu Skin. They're still a big player in the multi-level marketing company. So you got all kinds of those companies here. You got Nature's Sunshine, just a whole bunch of multi-level marketing companies very close to Provo. So that provides a lot of job opportunities. But then you also have, besides the tech jobs and the multi-level marketing jobs, you also have educational jobs. Of course, Brigham Young University is a big employer in this area, as well as just 5 miles down the road in the sister city of Orem, Utah, you've got Utah Valley University. So when it comes to the job market, Provo's a great place because of all the opportunities with great jobs. One of the other great reasons to call Provo home is it's really a relatively safe community. It's always ranked as one of the top safe cities in Utah, and it's also nationally one of the safest cities in the country. And it has just a beautiful community. I'm in the downtown part of Provo. You got all the old historic buildings. It's a fun place to come visit. They really got a lot of fun restaurants, comedy clubs, and things to enjoy down here. So that's really part of some of the things that make living here so great. Is it feels safe, but you also have a real sense of community here. They have, I would say Provo is one of the more patriotic cities you'll ever come to.
Very patriotic.
Every year they hold the annual Freedom Festival here in Provo, and it's just months-long activities of patriotic services, and it culminates on the 4th of July with their Freedom Days Festival, as well as the Stadium of Fire activity they had at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, where they always bring in performers to sing and have fireworks and just another patriotic patriotic singing going on. They also gather at the Marriott Center. That's where BYU plays for their basketball teams play every year in preparation for Freedom Days. They also have Hope of America, where they bring thousands of the elementary kids from all across Utah County to perform a patriotic night of songs and just honoring Utah heritage, the heritage of the United States of America, and just to get together. And it's just a real sense of patriotism when you attend that program. All my kids have participated in that Hope of America program. Okay, finally, my last pro is affordability. Now, this is a relative term because it's a lot more than it used to be. I think everywhere has experienced inflation and appreciation, but compared to Salt Lake City, which is 45 minutes or so from here, Provo is a lot more affordable. You're going to spend $100,000, maybe $200,000 more for the same home up in Salt Lake Valley that you'll spend here in Provo. So when it comes to that, it's way more affordable. The thing that's really cool about Provo is it really has a lot of variety when it comes to housing. Here in the downtown area, just a few blocks that way, you've got a whole bunch of historic homes. They're just really beautiful still, very charming part of town. You also have a lot of urban revitalization taking place here, especially near the downtown area, where they had a lot of some of the old industrial type buildings that have been torn down. They were looking pretty ratty, pretty ugly, and they've torn those down. They're now turning those in to high-rise apartments. They're right by the front runner station, so they're great for people that need a commute to work, either up to Salt Lake or wherever they need to get to. So they're really close to that. They're kind of walkable communities. So they're creating all of that here in the downtown area, creating new, more affordable living and walkable communities. If you want a single family residence and brand new, your best option is really to head on out to the south end of town, where they've got a lot of townhomes going up. D.R. Horton's building quite a few townhomes right on that south end of town, that exit there. And then on the west side, There's also a lot of new developments out there where you'll find some single family homes, maybe some more townhomes. In the heart of town, it's kind of built out. There's just not as many places for new construction there, but just again, a lot of variety. Now, if you're looking for that mansion, you know, those $1 million homes, you'll find a lot of those in the Provo River bottoms. On the north end of Provo, that's where we find a lot of big stately homes on a little bit of land down by the Provo River. Okay, so if you're looking for a vibrant nightlife with bars and alcohol and drinking, you might be a bit disappointed in Provo because it's pretty hard to find. In fact, if you look off in the distance down the corner, that's about the only bar, and I don't even know if it's still operating. It says a bar out front, but Provo is pretty difficult when it comes to finding nightlife. Generally, most people have to travel up to Salt Lake to find the type of nightlife they want with bars and that and such. I actually got a comment recently from somebody who said, here's some actual information from a Provo native of 20 years. And I don't know if that was throwing shade at me or not, but regardless, because, you know, I'm kind of a native of this area too. I've only been here my whole life, but he made some really valid points on why there's not much nightlife here. I had made a comment earlier that I thought is because there wasn't a lot of demand, because the majority population here in the Provo area are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and as such, they do not drink alcohol, and so there's not much demand for that. Well, there's plenty of people who have left the church that want to drink, or that are not members that come here and want to drink, and so there is demand, there just isn't ability for it. So I've got to read what he said, because he made some really valid points. I thought, and he took the time to make those comments. I need to share those with you. So here, let me see if I can find it and read that to you. All right, he said, the lack of nightlife is not due to lack of demand. Provo City Council has banned brew pubs, and the Utah legislature has restrictions on locations for bars and any establishment that serves alcohol. These restrictions make most of all of downtown Provo ineligible, as downtown Provo has an LDS temple and 2 parks, and any place that serves alcohol has to be at least 500 feet away from these facilities. That's a great point. That's really probably one of the biggest reasons why there's not as many bars and pubs in the downtown Provo areas, because it is a bit restrictive in that manner because of restrictions from the city council as well as the state legislature. All right, guys, so my con number 2 is air quality. Air quality can be pretty lousy here in Provo from time to time, particularly in the wintertime. We get what are called winter inversions, and that's where, like, a high, you know, I'm not a meteorologist, but something about high pressures, and what it ends up doing is it ends up trapping all the pollutants down in the valley, and so it can look really, really gummy and yucky down here. Generally, those you experience those sometime between, I'd say, December and March. I actually remember as a kid going a whole entire month of like January and not even being able to see Mount Timpanogos, which is a beautiful mountain. It's a huge mountain, but there was so much of that inversion you couldn't even see it, and that was only a few miles from my home. So you're going to deal with that several days, well, quite a few days in the wintertime. It usually takes a nice big storm to come through and knock all that inversion out of the air. Now, in the summertime, there's another issue that we deal with that affects our air quality, and that's wildfires. We just deal with wildfires every single year. In fact, most of this week, our valley was full of smoke coming from wildfires that are like in Washington and Montana and Idaho. They weren't even here in our state, but and of course we have plenty of our own wildfires here that can really affect our air quality. So if you have an issue with respiration, Provo may not be the right place for you when it comes to air quality. Now, when we have good storms, it always pushes that out. Today's a clear day. You can see behind me, you can see up to the mountains. It's a relatively clear day today, a little bit of haze in the air. But just something to consider when you move in here, that sometimes you're going to deal with some pretty poor air quality. Okay, so I talked about affordability being a relative thing, and that one of the reasons that people choose to move to Provo is because it's relatively affordable, and it is compared to Salt Lake, or especially compared to, say, if you're coming from the Bay Area in California or even Southern California. Provo probably looks like a bargain compared to those areas. But relatively speaking, for the locals, it's become very expensive to live here. During the pandemic, we went up about 25% in appreciation just during that short little time frame of that year and a half. That really priced out a lot of first-time home buyers. They're having a hard time finding a home that they can afford, because your median home prices in this area are approaching close to $600,000. And we're just talking about just pretty typical sized homes, maybe 2,000 square feet, 4 beds, 3 baths type of a home. If you want something a little bit bigger, 4,000 square feet or something, you're gonna be pushing $1 million for those. So affordability is all relative. And again, for first-time home buyers and homeowners, they're feeling the pinch because it's just not as affordable as it used to be. And even renters are also feeling it. Rent prices have really jacked up in the last couple of years. I've got 3 young adults. One of them's moved out of my house, and he's paying like $700 for a single room to rent, just a single room in an apartment. So again, renters are really feeling the pinch for housing and finding something that's affordable in their range. It really hurts when not only appreciation pushed prices really high, and we've had low inventory, which also pushes prices high. When the Fed raised the interest rates, well, that just made it so homes were really out of reach for a lot of people. So until the interest rates come down, I think affordability is still going to be an issue. If they can get some rates down around 4%, maybe 5%, that'll help bring a lot of those first-time home buyers back into the market. All right, guys, so today's September 7th. It's a beautiful fall morning. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's probably pushing 75 degrees right now. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll tell you what, in about 2 months from now, there could be a foot or two of snow right where I'm standing. In Utah and in Provo, we have winters. Now, they're not as bad as our surrounding states, like say Montana or Idaho. They usually have generally much colder winters than we do. We generally warm up enough that the snow will melt off the roads. Like, we may have a huge storm in the morning, and by the afternoon all that snow is melted off the roads, and it's a little more safe to drive. Like, my dad grew up in Idaho, and he'd say once it snowed, the ice would pretty much stay on the roads all winter long because it just stayed really cold all the time. So that's definitely a benefit about our winters, is the fact that it warms up and it melts, but we still have a lot of snow. There'd be some days you wish that you had four-wheel drive to be able to get around, as well as snow blower or snow plow to push snow. So just be aware, if you're moving this area, you're going to be dealing with winter. If you're coming from Arizona or Nevada or California and you haven't been dealing with winter, just know you're going to deal with it here in Provo. Okay, I know relatively speaking that Provo's not like a massive metropolis, but for a city of 100,000 something people, it's got some traffic issues. So that's probably that's my number 5 on my con for when you come to thinking about living here in Provo. Just know that you're going to be dealing with traffic. Now there's 2 main corridors for Provo. You've got, right now I'm here on University Avenue. You access University Avenue from Interstate 15 on the south end of Provo, and University Avenue runs all the way north and south, all the way through Provo. And that's what I'm looking at here. And I'm in the downtown area, and every single block there's a traffic light. And I'm telling you, if you hit that just wrong, you're going to hit every single red light all the way down. Now, they do have it timed pretty well in the morning times for the morning commute to make it so that you hit a green light and you are able to sail through. But generally speaking, most times of the day, like I say, if you just hit one red light all the way down behind me, see all the way down there, you're going to hit every single one of those red lights. So it can take you a few minutes to get through town. Now, the other main road coming into Provo is University Parkway. You actually access that off Interstate 15 in Orem at the University or Utah Valley University exit, and that's the other main road that comes down into Provo, and that's kind of going east to west, and that road can get really busy as well. 500 West is your other main traffic route here in Provo. That is also very busy. And then, of course, Center Street in Provo, where I was just walking around a little bit earlier in this video, that also gets quite busy. But just know that you're going to deal with traffic here in the heart of Provo, especially on game days. When BYU's playing, just expect, man, it's going to take you a long time to get through town, right before the game and just after the game. So prepare for that. Same when the basketball team plays. Hey, how are you? And with that traffic comes a lot of noise. You just hear all that noise. Man, and this isn't even the worst of it. I'm actually here on Saturday morning, so it's actually pretty calm compared to a regular weekday. Traffic, that is my con number 5. So I should mention, along with the traffic being pretty congested here on University Avenue, there is also some limited public transportation. We do have buses and the UTA and the Front Runner here, but compared to other big cities, there's just not as much public transit and transportation available here. There is some, but not a lot. Hey, if you found this video helpful, go check out my other video about downtown Provo and all the shops and fun things to do there, and you can watch that by clicking here. Or if you want to check out some fun, cheaper, free things to do in Provo, you can watch that video by clicking here. Again, my name is Scott Walters with Best USA Realty. I talk about everything what it's like to live, sleep, eat, work, play in the Provo and Utah Valley areas. Guys, if you're thinking of moving here in 9 days or 90 days or even 9 years, reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I would absolutely love to help you. But remember, I can't help you unless you reach out to me. So book your free strategy session, and I'll leave my contact information down below. And with that, we will catch you on the next video.